Well, hey there, YouTube. It's PD2 Finger, and I'm demoing probably the last bass amp I'll ever build. I started playing around building battery-powered amplifiers a long time ago, and that the reason behind that is because we live in an apartment, so we like to play music together, non-professionally, just as a hobby. We're not talented or trying to set the world on fire with our music. It's nothing like that. It's just something that we love to do. And along the way, building the gear to enable us to do this has been challenging. It's not necessarily easy for me, especially when I run into bad parts, bad equipment, bad information. Is it ever my fault, Gunty?
No.
Usually our work is pretty good. I work with my partner and she keeps pretty close tabs on me, so we do run into bad parts, bad information, and bad equipment. This project here, we ran into all three, so this consumed quite a bit more time than it should have. But we bought this. It's called the JL, and it's an automotive. This is for your trunk of your car. This is a kicker box. Now, the bass speaker, it's a 12-inch EV Electro Voice Force 12 bass speaker. We found this on the top shelf at Salvation Army in the box with the warranty cards. Somebody had bought a 12-inch bass speaker and never installed it, and it ended up at Salvation Army for $6.99. And when I found it, I remember hyperventilating. I was going, and you know, it's like $180 speaker for $7. So this has a significant magnet on it, and I remember reading people claiming, "Oh, this speaker was the best bass speaker I ever had." And no, mind you, I think a lot of that has to do with the cabinet that it's in and also their own bass and the amplifier. Getting great tone is usually a combination of multiple factors. It's not just one thing. Although a good speaker is a good speaker. So more recently, my younger brother had given me a PV Basic 50 that was blown. I did some surgery on it and resurrected it. It blew up again, and then we made the decision to get rid of it. So in the process, I had this pan, the amplifier pan, the metal pan, and I threw it out. And I said, if I keep this pan, it's going to be bad. I'm going to force myself into making an amp into it, and it's just, I'm not supposed to be, we don't really have room for more stuff here. And my wife left. My wife went to the store, and I put clothes on and ran out to the dumpster and retrieved the pan. And when she came back, I apologized. I said, "Look, I can't throw that away. I can't." So I ended up cutting that pan down. It was wider. That's this piece here, and we built this amp. It's got a 100-watt Class D amplifier board in it. The EQ section, the circuitry, we built from a PCB. The place I bought the PCB from is not a reputable place. It's the worst PCB supplier I ever dealt with. I had to buy 2 of them to get it to work. They left out a very important piece of information from the PDF, which caused me to do a real lot of troubleshooting on the first board unnecessarily. So I do not recommend this company. It's called PCB Guitar PCB Mania. Not good. And since dealing with this issue, and it's taken an incredibly long time, I've been hanging out over at their forum and seeing this circus that they've created from just sloppy work, from not including information in the PDFs. I don't know how you could sell, like, I've run into this before, and typically it's when you're dealing with an Osh Park situation where it's some company that makes PCBs and anyone can design them. But to have a business where they're creating stuff and releasing it with incorrect information or incomplete information is inexcusable. So don't buy anything from Guitar PCB Mania. Super thumbs down. The worst. And it's unbelievably expensive. It's twice as expensive. Twice as expensive. It was over $20 to get a single PCB shipped. That being said, what this is, we have a master volume and an LED. Then there's, a power switch and a power LED, and then a master volume. And the master volume controls the power amplifier. This is all the preamp circuitry. So you have level, distortion or drive, and a blend. So you can blend in the amount of drive versus your clean tone. Then there's a bass, treble, and presence equalizer. So this circuit is a SansAmp bass driver clone. Behringer makes these, and they're $30 or $39. Honestly, if you were gonna replicate this, what I would tell you to do is, especially if you have a pedal board, buy the Behringer, put that on the end of your board, and then run an XLR cable up to a small box with the amp board in it and the batteries, and then the single volume control. If you really want it, like me, I was trying to duplicate the PV and fill this up with these knobs. And I have these the black Marshall style knobs. The only thing that I really don't like about it is the white stickers. If I could get black stickers with white lettering, it would be a great improvement. But like this out panel, this is something that came off of the PV, the original. And then these wood panels are from an old tube, I think a tube radio or a tube phonograph that I purchased secondhand, and it didn't work. So this is supposed to be the demo. I got my old Unicorn bass. I got this when I was 17. This was my first real instrument. I cherish this. This is the greatest instrument in the house. I absolutely love this. I will get sentimental to the point of having tears watching my wife play it. It's just so beautiful. It looks so good with her playing it. Both of the pickups died. And the guy who sold it to me was like shocked. He was like, really? And these are really unusual size holes. So I got this, I think it's called a quarter pounder. It's a Music Man humbucker clone. This is like a $17 pickup. And this is a $10 hot rail. And the reason I chose the hot rail is because getting the pull pieces to line up here with the rail, you don't have to worry about that. It goes all the way across. And these are just, this is a bass pickup, this is a guitar pickup, but it does a really good job. It really does. The way that this is wired, we just replaced all the electronics in here, and it beefed up the capacitor. So there's more tone cut. But if you, like, you have to, in order to isolate the pickups, you have to use a combination of the switch and the volume control. So typically we run it with just the neck pickup, and then the tone cut all the way back and just cracked open. So we're going to go ahead and demo this amp. It's a demo video, and I just talk for 15 minutes, but hey, you know what? That's how I do it here. I'm a human being. I speak. I love these. I see these videos and it says no talking. And it means that's one I'm not going to watch. It's not interesting. Here's some guy playing Zeppelin riffs. opening up the tone. So it's got a significant amount of high end. You can get that kind of clicky sound if you want. Right now I've got the master set at about 4 and the level is at about 2. And if you play with that drive, you can get a significant boost in volume off if you're just using this. But honestly, this we would probably never be running it clean. I would run this Korg Pandora, which has some modeling in it and auto wah overdrive. It's got some interesting effects and some interesting modeling. Just basically anything to goose the amp to act as a boost. So I'm not sure what we'll end up using. I mean, she's got a wonderful pedal board here. It's just a little big. And the idea with this is that it's for our micro rig, smaller rig. Underneath it, there's a 10-inch amp that has a 3-band EQ, a 10-inch speaker, and the same amp board. And it runs off of 24 volts as well. So we can grab that 10, which is smaller, and go. And then this is 2 pieces, so it's a little bit bigger. And then we would run this Korg, set this on top of here. It's got a little battery pack. And we have a foot switch for that. So what I will do is one day when I can get at this during the day when nobody's here, I can set the computer up USB to this, and then I can edit these patches with a mouse, and I could go through and dial in about a dozen really good sounding patches to match the settings of the Korg through this amplifier and this cabinet and this bass, just to get it to sound as best as I can. And we'll do a clean patch, a slightly gritty patch, a full-on distorted patch. We'll do a couple of different auto wah style patches, and then I'll do a couple ambience patches with a little bit of reverb, maybe delay, and I like to do a phase shifter bass patch. So that's the portable bass amp, the 12 we call it. It's got a 12-inch speaker. We'll call it the 12. If you're interested in this, you can look for more videos under the heading of making the amp or battery-powered bass amp on this channel. So thank you for joining me for the demo. I apologize I didn't. You'll be able to hear this in action when we film at micro remotes. So further on in time, if you subscribe to the channel, if you see micro remote hyphen and a song title, that'll let you know we're using one of these two battery powered. If you see remote jam, that's the full size PA that we built. We have a battery powered PA that's 600 watts that runs off a 48 volt e-bike battery. So thank you for joining me on this one. And again, if you're interested in building a battery-powered amp, there's building your own amp. There's 2 considerations. First is, are you going to run it on batteries or are you going to run it on a power supply? Because if that's the case, if you're going to run it on batteries, you're going to want to choose a Class D power amp. And that's your wise choice for batteries. If you're going to run it off a power supply, you're going to have AC. There's other options. There's something called the Tiny Giant that you could very easily do one of those. But as far as what I'm doing here, what works well for me with the battery thing is the Class D. And it is what it is. I'm stuck. As far as building amplifiers, I like to use the TPA 3116D2 mono board, which you can get them for $3 from AliExpress, although you do pay about $3 of shipping. And those you're going to want to have a 24 volt power supply. So it's 6 18650 cells, or you can go with a dozen and double up on the capacity. And that's how we do it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Building a battery powered bass amp is a challenge, but it can be done. And I did it. I'm done. I'm not doing any more amps. I did a crate, a little guitar amp with the same amp board, and I built a runoff groove tone bender EQ, and that amp, man, it sounds good. So this year I built 3 amps, the 10, the 12, and then the crate amp. And if you want more information, or if you're interested in that crate, you can look for the Making the Amp series on this channel. So stay warm, hug your pets. We got one here he wants to be in the movie. Hi, Kita. Hi, you want to be in the movie? He's a good boy, Mr. Chicken Bean. Yes, he's a good boy. I love you. I love you. Hug your pets, give them treats, and peace.